everyone. Welcome back to the Converge with Us podcast. We are excited to continue our conversations featuring some of the mighty women on the Converge team. So today we have Miss Jasmine Adams with us today. Hi, Jasmine.
Hello.
I would love to, just start out with you introducing yourself. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what excites you about doing DEI.
Yeah, sure. I have been with Converge a year and a half now, so it's been a really exciting journey. And what I do with Converge, I help to craft the DEI strategies with Converge clients. So I'm working hand in hand with you and the rest of the team, and we are in the trenches connecting with the leaders, mid-level management, and employees across the organization to figure out for their specific needs and their culture, what DEI strategy makes the most sense that can be sustainable. And so that has just been an amazing exposure to different organizations, as well as the tips and tricks and best practices of really making sure that DEI is embedded in multiple organizations moving forward. That's a little bit about what I do with Converge. And you asked about my journey before Converge?
Yeah.
Sure. So I started out with a bachelor's in economics and organizational management, and then a master's in industrial and organizational psychology. So it was all about organizational effectiveness, organizational dynamics, team dynamics, making sure that organizations are running as efficiently and effective as possible using their human capital, using the people inside the organization. So I spent time in a lot of different consulting firms. I started out my career at a boutique HR consulting and leadership development firm, and then moved on to work at Korn Ferry and then KPMG, and then Deloitte, all in their people and change management practices. And so throughout that entire journey, I really enjoyed it, but DEI was always a side component or a last thought, an add-on, and I knew that DEI needed to be a main ingredient in the recipe. And so once I left those larger organizations, I went and ran HR and operations for some startups in media and entertainment. And that's where I got to be closer to the front lines of DEI and actually seeing how it's implemented. And then from there, I came over to Converge to see if I can lean all the way into every types of way that we can put DEI on the front lines of organizations.
So cool, so cool. And one of my favorite things about Converge is that I get to work with so many amazing specialists and experts in their own right. And many people may not realize that many of our consultants at Converge have their own practices, their own businesses, and again, are specialists and experts in their own right. And so when you hire Converge, you get really what I like to call a special ops team. We get specialists from a lot of different areas. So I would love for you to talk a little bit about your business, Career Conversations, and what you do there and how you've used, your experience from before Converge and during Converge to really help grow and scale your own business.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you allowing me to share, about Career Convos. And I echo your sentiment around, joining a Converge consulting team and working with clients. A lot of the consultants on the Converge team are pulling out of their own toolboxes to say, actually, I have these tools, or, years ago, I used this at this client, and this is absolutely fitting for what you need. And so I agree with the special ops analogy. I love to hear that. So in terms of my areas of expertise, I would say it's around three. And so organizational change management, I would say is the larger bubble in which I work, because it's all about facilitating change and making sure that it's sustainable. And so that's bringing people along in the process. So whether you're creating a DEI strategy and making sure it's embedded in the organization, whether you're looking at talent management, placing executives, compensation, all of those pieces, change management holds all of that together. And then within that are the two that I mentioned. So a talent management expert and a compensation management expert. So while I was at two of the big fours, that's what I did for Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies, helping to understand what is the best talent management and compensation management strategy. So I took all of that knowledge and have been working, frankly, in career convos for over a decade, initially just doing career coaching out of passion, just out of referrals, just people saying, oh, you're interviewing for a job, you're negotiating your salary, you should talk to Jasmine. But within the last 5 years, have really been able to ramp up and offer those services on a wide scale. And so some of the things that came out of that, so teaching salary negotiation, coaching people in their careers, is executive search. And so that's something that I've been doing very recently, because I've worked with top senior level clients who are looking for the next best fit to help promote and extend their careers. And so I have corporations on one side who are looking to place senior level executives, and then I have a pool of top level candidates who are ready and chomping at the bit for the role. So that's a little bit of what my whole team does at Career Combos.
Love it. We just love it. And again, one of the best things that I feel like has come out of me being able to manage Converge over the last 3 years is the ability to help others on their journeys and support their businesses. So always looking for a way that we can do that and continue to do that. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're in Women's History Month, and I couldn't think of a more fitting last question than to ask about influential women in your life. I think women relationships have been really important to me over time, and have played a critical part in my personal and professional development and my growth as a woman. So would love to hear from you about influential women in your life, in your journey currently, or who in the past that have really helped you become who you are as a woman.
No, I appreciate you making sure that we have a platform to talk about the people who have blazed the trail before us and help us keep our fire lit, especially in the dark times or the harder times of being a business owner and, trying to figure it all out. I would say one of the things that I actually teach when I'm coaching my clients and actually doing workshops in large corporations are the differences between coaches, mentors, and sponsors. And within each of those groups, I've always had really dynamic women. So I'll highlight, at least from a mentor standpoint, Susan Hitchcock, who is, I graduated from college in 2007. She graduated from my college in 1967. And so we literally had a 40-year difference between us, but she was one of the first female leaders at AT&T in the Southeast, coming up through the ranks, and was just a champion for women's leadership. And by the time that I met her, she was a giant, to say the least. But she is on what I like to call my life board of directors. So I never make a move without talking to her. But she has just inspired me every step of the way, being a female leader in a man's world, fighting imposter syndrome, speaking up for yourself in terms of advocating for yourself for promotions, for the right salaries, and even being a business owner. So she is definitely one of my greats. And then I also say looking at your contemporaries, I think, is really important. And so a lot of people will say, who are the folks that came before you? Yes, those people are valuable to help show you the way, but the folks that you come up with in the trenches are just as important, because when you're at the middle levels and when we're at the top levels, these are the people that are helping to make the decisions that drive industries, that drive wealth building, that drive the world. And so being able to work with you, Val, for the last year and a half and watch you build your business is just a reinforcement, a reminder that we can do this. Not we have to wait, until we get to a certain point, or we have to look at someone else and say, well, once I reach that age, then. But talking and spending time with women who are promoted and inspired by the same dreams that you have day in and day out is beyond just helpful. Such a life raft as we move forward.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I promise that was not a plant.
It was not.
But it's true. It's like, I think about, like you said, contemporaries, my peers, and people that I watched that have been able to just go after their dreams and go after the things that they have been thinking about. And particularly in the last few years, when we've seen a lot of women, a lot of Black women, women of color, really just shine and step into those dreams. So I appreciate you highlighting that and saying that. All right. So if people want to hear more about Career Convos, how can they reach you that way?
Yeah, sure. So the good thing is Career Convos, it's all one word, and you can find me on any platform through that. So Career Convos, of course, is short for Career Conversations. So it's just spelled CAREERCONVOS. And so that is my website, that is my Instagram, that is my Facebook, that is my YouTube. And you can also email me at Jasmine@careerconvos.com. So I definitely hope to hear from the folks in this audience, helping them around either executive search placement, salary negotiation, career coaching, and then also with reaching out to Converge as we really drive forth on these DEI strategies that these companies so desperately need, but not just to create and put on the shelf, but to live and breathe it in their organizations.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. You heard her, live and breathe. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do some integration work
every day. Yes.
Every day. All right. Well, if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, I don't know why not yet, but please do. More information always on social media, Converge Firm and convergefirm.com. Until next time, thank you all so much. Thanks again, Jasmine, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.